I'm thankful that you've given me the permission to speak on the subject, that is the supplementary demand for grants. That day, when the discussion commenced, many honorable members spoke on various aspects of the economy, not just confining to the supplementary demand for grants. I take this opportunity, sir, to answer many of the issues raised which pertain to the larger issue of the economy, not just the supplementary demand for grants. One particular thing which of course I will highlight is the supplementary demand for grants this time. Many members had said that this time the demand is very high. Is it because we underestimated in the BE and therefore we have come up with a higher demand? I just want to highlight repeatedly that the total is 3,73,761,000 crores, of which 2,99,243 is the additional cash outgo. It is also because the big ticket expenditure are going, one for the Air India, for which of course amount which has been allocated has been mentioned in the supplementary demand. Also, at a time when we are very, very sensitive to the farmers and their requests, the government, because the international prices of fertilizers have gone up, we had to ensure that the farmers don't suffer because of it, and therefore an increase in the subsidy for fertilizer has been provided, which itself is accounting for 58,430 crores. So there are one or two very serious issues which members have raised during the debate because of the fact that they pertain to the supplementary demand for grants. I'd like to answer those questions. First of all, about the additional demand which is being raised. Even in 2011 and 12, more than 8.6% of the BE was raised through these supplementary demands. First, second and the third put together. In 2012-13, that was about 4.8%. 8.6% in 2011 and 12 was the additional supplementary demand, was the additional amounts raised through the supplementary demand for grants, whereas in 21-22, we are given the consideration that second wave and also extending the food subsidy, and also by the reduction in the fuel price which the central government has brought in, our revenues have come down to that extent, and also the fertilizer subsidy which I just mentioned, our additional demand put together is 9.3% in 21-22 BE, whilst in the excluding railways in the BE, therefore it's about 9.6. That is regarding the supplementary demand itself. So, but it was very, very disappointing that Honorable Member Shashi Tharoor, when he spoke about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, came up with a very disheartening and discouraging slogan, Paisa Bachao, Beti Dubao. If only Honorable Member Shashi Tharoor looked into the fundamental data, he'll know that so much of good work has happened. I will list out a few. The latest National Family and Health Survey recorded that there are 1,020 women, for the first time in the record, that there are more women in today's India, 1,020 women per 1,000 men after 2 years of research that this data has come out. That's one thing. First time in record, we have more women in this country than men. Second, 44 crore bank accounts are opened under Jan Dhan Yojana. More than half of it, that is 24.48 crores, are women's accounts. Also, 80% of women in India have a bank account today because of Prime Minister's Jan Dhan Yojana. Sir, the important thing one has to understand in this is the spread between the rural and the urban areas. Account holders, Jan Dhan account holders are both in the rural areas and urban areas. Even better, 70% of all those who have Mudra accounts are women. So, because of the persistent women's-led development, we are able to see that women are now included more in bank accounts. So, 70% of all the beneficiaries in Mudra Yojana are women. Sir, I'll also draw the attention of Honorable Member Shashi Tharoor, who is not even here, that because of schemes like Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, the gap between the girls and the boys in higher education institutions is narrowing. And as of today, 49% of all students in colleges are now girls, according to the latest All India survey on higher education. The survey for 2019-20 has also shown that during the last 5 years, that is between 2015-16 to 2019-20, there has been a 11.4% growth in student enrollment, whereas the female enrollment has been 18.2%, much higher than the overall average. So that has to be kept in mind and not get into sloganeering without facts being looked into. Sir, also you had members saying, what has happened? People like Nirav Modi have gone out of this country. What have you got from their assets? They are all defaulters. I like to say, sir, a total of 13,109.17 crore has been recovered from the asset sales of Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi as of July 2021. And that is the information from the Enforcement Directorate. The latest recovery was 792 crores from the sale of assets belonging to Vijay Mallya and others on July 16th, 2021. And also, sir, a total public sector banks together have effected a recovery of 5,49,327 crores over the last 7 financial years. So these people who are defaulters, who have fled the country, we have got their monies back and put it to the public sector banks, and therefore the banks are safer today and depositors' money is safer in them. I wish the opposition understands that this is the effort made by Prime Minister Modi's government, and it is no good for them to deny that. Sir, there were also questions about what is the finance position of the states. I like to say total transfer to the states in the first 8 months of this financial year are already 86.4% of what was provided in the full year 1920 and 76.8% of what was provided in the full year 2020-2021. I also want to say, sir, that from the NDRF, funds are being provided and providing an extra 15,000 crores for emergency COVID-19 response. Sir, I like to put it on record that the financial position of the states is also reflected in the fact that the overall cash balance of states as on 30th November 2021 was 3,08,000 crores approximately. Fairly comfortable position, sir, and I'm happy that all of us are working together to keep the state's finances in a comfortable position. The states are having substantial cash balance with them, and only few exceptions. Out of 28 states, only 2 states are having negative cash balance. Sir, I want to put it on record that the questions asked by Honorable Member Dayanidhi Maran as regards Air India disinvestment. Sir, Dayanidhi Maran ji spoke about the sale of Air India for 18,000 crores. However, the value realization for this deal he is not talking about. Through this deal, 15,300 crore of Air India's debts will be paid for by the acquiring company and won't be a further burden on the taxpayers. The winning bid is also significantly higher than the 12,906 crore, which is the reserve price set by the government for the sale of the company. I also want to highlight that Dayanidhi Maran ji and his elder brother had sold SpiceJet for just ₹2 in 2015. According to the share price at that time of the SPA, the stake was worth 765 crore, which was sold for ₹2. And at least he should then realize what is it when we sold Air India on enterprise value, that he should know, and he should in fact appreciate the point, having himself at a personal level been involved with sale of a particular airlines and at that rate. And therefore, sir, at the time SpiceJet reportedly had debt and liabilities outstanding of rupees 3,500 crores with immediate payables of rupees 2,200 crore, and the book value of the company was -24 per share. So the situation of an airline company, and in that company which doesn't make profit, and then trying to sell it and selling it at a value of ₹2 per share, I'm sure Honorable Member Dayanidhi Maran will appreciate and know how companies are being sold, because he himself sold his company at ₹2 and when it was in -24 per share valuation. So the other issue on which repeatedly questions are being asked is the oil bonds. The total payment towards repaying the oil bonds, sir, and the interest between 2014 to 22 amounted for 93,685.68 crores. That is 13,500 crore as principal amount and the rest as interest. Sir, here I would like to say the taxpayers of today, honorable members, through the chairman, I request, please pay attention to this fact. The taxpayers of today are paying for the subsidy dished out to consumers more than a decade ago by the UPA government, and they will continue to pay for the next 5 years as the redemption of the bond continues until 2026. What I want to draw your attention, Honorable Speaker, sir, is even former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh in an address to the nation on June 4th, 2008, said, however, I quote, however, I would like the nation to remember that issuing bonds and loading deficits on oil companies is not a permanent solution to this problem. We are only passing our burden to our children who will have to repay this debt, unquote. Dr. Manmohan Singh ने ही माना कि ऑयल बॉन्ड्स प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व नहीं करता और सब्सिडी कस्टमर को वो नहीं दे रहे हैं, ऑयल बॉन्ड्स के ऊपर ऑयल कंपनी के ऊपर दबा दिया वो सब बोझ और फ्यूचर आने वाले जनरेशन के ऊपर वो बोझ पड़ेगा, ये विषय डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी ने कहा। और जब हम कहते हैं कि आज तक उनका भरपाई हम कर रहे हैं, इनको समझ में आना चाहिए कि ऑयल प्राइस सब्सिडी इन्होंने उठाया नहीं मगर पॉलिटिकली उसका फायदा उठाने के लिए कोशिश किया, वो जो गलत था हम आज तक उसको भरपाई कर रहे हैं। And this speech, sir, of Dr. Manmohan Singh was after the bond issue was made. So I want that to be brought into the records. And finally, sir, there was also enough concern being expressed by members on inflation. I want to underline the fact that more than 5 full years, the UPA government run their government with double-digit inflation and they didn't do anything about it. And today, even when inflation is contained well within 6%, which is a permitted limit, they seem to be talking about price rise. Yes, we will know that for edible oil and things like that, we are taking measures through the EGOM, which is empowered GOM for taking care of essential goods. We will attend to the problem of oil price, edible oil price and also some of the essential edible items. But sir, because the debate went beyond what was necessary in terms of the supplementary demands for grant, members have every right to raise issues, no doubt, but I wanted to put them on the record, my response. And with this, I request the honorable members, the entire House, to pass the supplementary demands for grants. Thank you.